Other people or something. So I'm going to walk you through, and please feel free to ask questions at any point in time. I'll walk you through almost the same presentation I'm giving every time. Same little bit, we improved it, but kind of let you know where we're at in the industry, what's going on, where we're moving, at least where Show's trying to move, where we're working with the government, and then also I'll walk you through a unity proposal that I gave, not Show, not Dr. Mullins, nobody else. So Show gets blamed for it, and I apologize for that, but I presented it now to the trainers board, I presented it to the TWEBA board, and I've been asked to present it to the WHAA board, whatever's left of it. So that is the presentation. I'm not real sure what they're going to talk about. So this is the presentation. Most of the time I ask, what are the goals from the meeting? If you have 2 or 3 things that you said, okay, at the end of this meeting, what would make it a successful meeting? Somebody. You don't care whether it's successful or not. You don't care if you're running. What makes it successful at the end of this meeting?
Like everybody on the same page, knows what's going on.
Same page, you know what's going on. We can do that. Let me tell you, we've got a meeting with Dr. Gibson tomorrow. I said we're going to talk about that meeting. Okay, what's been going on for the last 2 years. So we'll walk through that. Where are we? It's now March 7th, March 8th. You may not know this, but nobody's been decertified. Nothing's happened. We're all still viable. Even though everybody said March 23rd we're going to be decertified. Nothing's happened. That's where we are. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about the show horse card in case anybody wants to. If you don't want to, you can pass over it. It's really easy. Had a lot of conversations about it. It's been on the chat. Everybody knows about it, but who knows? We'll talk about the other HIO's response. I think it's very important for this group to understand if an HIO has accepted the mandatory penalties, what is the impact? Because in my opinion, they're huge. Trainers and owners. You all need to understand that. And you have some HIOs. WHAA has accepted. Sheba has accepted. You do have some HIOs that have accepted the mandatory penalties. Right now, Kentucky, Pride, Show, and Heart of America have not accepted. It's the last I heard. I don't know Heart of America's full response, but I'm pretty sure they did not accept. We'll talk about the next steps a little bit. Talk about Show. Anybody here in show management? I'll walk you through a little bit about the problems for show management if they don't use an HIO, just so this group can understand a little bit. I'll go through that fast since we don't have anybody involved in show management. But it's pretty important because show management is really the entity that is on point. If any of you are on the chat, disregard what Bahama Mama says about let the government come in and check. Just so we're real clear, the government, if they attend the show, does not have to check a horse. By law, they do not have to. Show management, on the other part, is required by law to disqualify a sore horse and to ensure that all regulations are complied with. I asked this question to a show manager in South Carolina. The guy actually admitted it. We were talking. I said, well, if you don't use an HIO, because Bahama Mama's telling you don't use one, just do it yourself. I said, are you okay with that? He said, well, I don't know. I said, well, do you have somebody that's going to go ahead and weigh the chains? Because an 8-ounce chain or a 6.3-ounce chain on one foot is a violation of the Horse Protection Act, and you are liable. Wow, didn't know that. Did you know that foreign substance, show management is liable to make sure that that happens? Shoeing violations, we'll just have a vet. Of course, the theory is we'll just have a vet check. I can tell you right now, in researching at least the 10 vets that I know of, not one of them know the shoeing regulations. Not one. It's kind of scary that you can have somebody check horses, do who doesn't know what the HPA says or does, and that's going to protect show management? Not. And the reason it's important is because the government's kind of serious about this stuff this year. I'll explain to that why that is. Impact on trainers and owners. You as trainers and you as owners need to understand the impact of what's happening in the industry right now. And what is going to continue to happen. This is not going away. We have stuck our heads as an industry into the ground, or backed up and given to the USDA for the last 10 plus years that I've been involved. Y'all have given away all of your rights, or someone gave them away for you. And we're stuck where we're at. And I got to be honest with you, talking to a trainer who's been in the business probably 35 years, he said, Frank, I don't know if you and the other lawyers can basically dig us out, get us out of the hole that we have dug ourselves into. It is so deep, and we have given up so much. Trying to get it back. Understand, when you give something to the government, trying to get it back is harder than hell. Why do they give it back? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about community proposal for one. I think it's actually brilliant. I do think it's brilliant. I also think it's something this industry needs. I'm not trying to, I don't want to push it. Show's not going to manage it. Celebration's not going to manage it. I would love to have an association for free. Take it. I will tell you exactly what I told them. Tell you exactly what I told them. You can ask me exactly what I told the trainers. The trainers, y'all have basically given up, and y'all need to get back involved. Unity will not happen without the trainers. We hear talk all day long. We say, oh, well, they're great. Owners, oh, they're great. People say, we got 90,400 members, we should have more votes. Trainers say, owners say, we've got all the damn money, we should have more votes. Last time I checked, not one horse goes in the ring, except the amateur trainers. Not one horse goes in the ring unless a trainer's involved. Not one. Amateur owner trainer, I understand that. Maybe some of those, whether they're actually amateur owner trainer, I don't know, but not one. And how much voice do the trainers have? Nothing. The trainers are probably the most important, in my opinion, and I've said this to Bill, Amy, the board, I've said this, we've said this to the owners association. The trainers are the focus. They are right here. If the trainers don't agree to it, it doesn't happen. Show would not be in existence. And 2 years ago, the trainers not unanimously agreed to let show take over. Understand what we were 2 years ago. Dr. Gibson came in and said, you must have a perfectly smooth posterior passage, no scars, or I'm going to shut it in. Panic. How many horses did you have 2 years ago that had perfectly smooth posterior passages? I didn't have any. I had 2-year-olds. But after that, they looked very good. So he was ready to shut the industry down. How many of you know that at the end of 2008, the OIG had done an audit of the National Horse Show Commission and had recommended it be certified. Full decertification based upon the record of improper DQG inspections, lost tickets, overturned tickets. Nothing happening in the industry. It's a report. I'm not making this up. It's a written report recommending commission be decertified and taken out of business. But for shifting to show, the commission would have been decertified. Guess who was next? Kentucky. Why didn't Kentucky? What would have happened in the industry if that would have been allowed to continue? Would we have an industry? No. Y'all can sit here, when we were down here, we'd be fine. I'm telling you, you would have been exactly what we were accused of years ago by one of the MOs. We've been relegated to a dog fighter, chicken fighter industry because that's where the government was going. What would happen if we had not opted out of the operating plan? We'd be out of business. Understand that the government was issuing tickets through and requiring the DQPs through conflict resolution. They were issuing tickets at a pace unheralded in the industry under the operating plan for the purpose of shutting the industry down. These are facts. These are not just numbers I'm making up. These are facts. When we opted out of the operating plan in May of 2009, they had no idea what to do. You can't do that. One of the lawyers that had been providing support for this industry for years said, you can't do that. Really? Show me in the law where I have to do an operating plan. The government never signed it. We signed it, and we agreed to it. I'll show you the mandatory penalties, and I'll show you the operating plan penalties. And when I show you these two sets of penalties, I'm going to ask you, how different are they? They're almost identical. What's the difference? We don't like it. Now we don't like it. That's where the government was going in 2009. All right. Any questions again? Ready? Ready to rock? If I'm going too fast, say something. I'm a fast talker. My wife says you got to. She always tells me you got to slow down. I always give in the correct answer of a good, loving husband. Yes, dear. Those of you who have not instilled this in your husbands, or husbands who have not embraced this, yes, dear works every time. Yes, dear. All right. Current environment. Small, I'll try to read this. So what's happened every year? Every year, the government comes in, we got a big issue. 2007, we had a new operating plan, we had Bill Hawks helping. That didn't work very well for us. We had a new operating plan, big deal. 2008, double jeopardy, the Derrickson case. There was something else that goes on, I can't remember, and I asked Landon and some others, they didn't remember, it was a big deal. The government always say it has a big deal. Right before the trainers go. Everybody gets uptight. 2009, perfectly smooth posterior passing. We all lived through that bad day. 2010, police emphasis, and they started with mandatory penalties. For those of you who don't know, in March of 2009, they came down and said the penalty matrix, which you will see, is required. March 9th, March 16th, 15th, we went back and met with Dr. Gibson, Dr. Caesar, and some others, Dr. Motley, and we basically walked them through. They had about 7 mistakes in the points of emphasis, and mandatory penalties not mandatory. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Caesar issued a restatement where she admitted, by the way, this has never been done by the USDA, never, and they retracted a position. She admitted that the required penalties were only recommended. Interesting. OIG audit comes out in 2010. Had the commission not changed to show, when this audit came out, I will tell you right now, we matched up perfectly in 2008 with all of the OIG findings. Conflicted DQPs. Failure to write the correct ticket to the right person. Lost tickets, overturned tickets, inconsistent or fraudulent inspections. There are actually trainers that you should just take up back numbers. That was it. The horse never walked through. That's what was happening before 2009. That's exactly what the government found in their audit for 2008. And it applies to all of the performance padded HO. This is not just NHC Commission, this is Kentucky. All of them. They're right. So they're going down the path of trying to be certified and rulemaking. Y'all understand what rulemaking means? Rulemaking is where a regulatory agency opens it up for comments on and changes the regulatory rules. Rulemaking has been threatened in this industry for years. Never done anything about it.